Non-oversampling R2R tube DAC by LTA, the AERO. It's right behind me. Man, is this going to be mashed potatoes for sound? Non-oversampling R2R tube? Whew. Could get a little mushy. Or is it going to be a dynamic, transient, clear Ginsu knife of a DAC that blows your mind? Let's take a look at it first, then we'll come back and talk about it. All right, go check it out. Quit looking at me, go check it out. All right, so that was a look at the very first DAC by LTA Audio. Super cool folks over there. We met them at Expona a couple years ago. We really liked their product. We heard it at Expona this year. We heard it at Pacific Audio Fest as well in a bunch of systems. And Kelly and I were really impressed at the performance. We got this DAC in for review. This DAC does run $3,800 if you wanted to purchase this DAC. It is a tube design. The tubes are in the output stage. It's all Class A, fully balanced. So you've got your RCA and your single-ended, that you can choose from there. It is PCM only up to 192, so no DSD, no MQA, no fancy bells and whistles. They just said, let's keep it simple and just do what we do really, really well. If you want to get into the Zodal network and the galvanic isolation, all this stuff, all that fancy terms and technology, I'm not your guy. Go check out some other reviews on it. Go to the website and read up all on that stuff. I'm not a technical guy. Or you could just wait until the review of this comes out from Old Guy Hi-Fi, our buddy Ed over there. He's the technicality master, and he can guide you through all that fancy smancy terminology and stuff that I can't. It does run off 12 SN7 tubes. You get two pairs. They send you a pair of GEs and a pair of Westinghouse. It will run 6 S7. There's tubes flying everywhere. It will run 6 SN7s. We ran some RCAs, some PS vanes through it. So if you're a tube roller, whoop whoop, you're dialed in. The cool thing about this is, typically with your 6 SN7 tubes or your 12 SN7s, not super expensive. I mean, you can get these tubes $25 to $50 a pair. So it's not like you're having to spend like 300 B money or anything like that. It is a DAC, so it's not going to burn through the tubes they're saying like 10,000 hours on these things. I'd be surprised if you didn't get 20,000 hours on these, on this unit. So you're not going to have to change these tubes all the time. But if you did leave it on all the time, which I did, it could burn through some tubes. So if you notice some stuff, it's not super expensive to mess around with that. The other thing I like about LTA is it's all made in the USA, man. They're right here in the USA, and just a great, company based in the USA. So what does that allow for all of us US consumers? It gives us killer customer support, quick shipping. You got access to the company. They give you a 14-day free trial. So buy the thing, they ship it to you. It comes really quick. You get 14 days with it. You send it back if you don't like it. So that's kind of cool. You don't have to worry about things coming from overseas. And they do all of their stuff in-house over there. So that's pretty cool. Oh, and they do ship worldwide. So $3,800, non-oversampling R2R tube DAC, Sounds fantastic. If you haven't watched Steve Guttenberg's review on it, he did. I felt like him and I aligned a lot. So go watch Steve Guttenberg's review. Speaking of that, let's get into how this thing sounds, and we'll get you guys out of here. All right, so kind of getting into how this thing sounds, what did we pair this with? And so we used this thing kind of in a lot of spaces. So what the streamers that we sent to it, specifically the ones that I liked the best, we had the Dynavector RC streamer, we had the Lumin U1 Mini, and we had the new air lens from PS Audio. My favorites by far was in order of kind of what vibed with me. Was the PS Audio Air Lens, Dynavector RC, and the Lumin U1 Mini. The Lumin U1 Mini seemed to just collapse that soundstage a little bit for me. The Dynavector, but it was very refined. The Dynavector RC streamer is a little less refined than the Lumin, but you get a little bit more spaciousness in the stage. You get a little bit more kind of space in between things, which I really liked. But you kind of lose some of that refinement, although the RC is a very refined streamer. And then the new air lens that I got kind of put us kind of in the middle. So it gives you kind of that spacious tonality, musicality, and space of the Dynavector's kind of line, which is kind of what they do. And it had a little bit of that refinement that Lumin U1 Mini brought to the table. So as far as streamer pairings, the air lens was probably my favorite from PS Audio, but all fantastic in that space. All right, so what preamps, integrateds did we run this thing to? We ran this thing with the ladder preamp, the ladder Bach, I think it is. I can't remember what that is. I think it was the ladder. We ran it with the Freya Plus with a couple different tubes. That was a nice pairing. I'm telling you what, the air lens streamer, the AERO DAC, the Freya Plus preamplifier to the Orchard Audio Star Crimson Duo amplifier. Dude. You talk about some synergy. That was legend level. That was really good, especially to the Baffles, but we'll get into speakers later. So preamp amp combos. We also ran it through the Freya Plus and the Galleon TSA 75 amplifier. Good pairing. Nothing to write home about, but that was a solid pairing. The synergy was just a little bit off there. But I'll tell you, my favorite pairing, I'm not even going to lie. I'm not even lying to you right now. It's right there. And that is the Atoll SDA200. If you watched my pre-review on this thing, that right there is a magical space. Atoll SDA200, $4,300, $4,500 integrated amplifier. With that DAC and the air lens streamer and just using the Atoll SDA200 as an integrated. Although I didn't have the Atoll integrated in, but if I were to, I wouldn't use the SDA200 because that's an all-in-one. I would just get the integrated from Atoll and integrate it with that. But that was that chef's kiss. That was a chef's kiss moment. So as far as gear, that's kind of where we were at there. Okay, speaker pairing. Rolling around through all of those things, we've identified that the Atoll, kind of as the powerhouse, that Class AB with a Class A output stage was just magical with the air lens and the AERO DAC. That was my jam. We ran the ABX La Dolce Audio Open Baffles. We ran the Dynaudio UA2.5v2 We ran the Monacoustics Platimons. We ran the Mark Audio Sesti T Towers. We ran the KEF R500s. My two favorite pairings there were probably the UA2.5v2 You want something that's going to be a little bit more resolving. If you're running, depending on what you're running, the AERO DAC isn't going to be the most clarity focused detail focused DAC. It is a little bit more musical. We'll get into kind of the sound of it specifically here in a second. But it does like to be fed. Really good clean source, and it likes to go out to really good clean power and get a really nice refined speaker. So the open baffles worked really well with it. The Dynaudio UA2.5v2 they have a nice little refinement on the top, played well there. The KEF R500 were probably some of my favorite. They're sitting right here next to me. I see them. They're white ones. They're usually in the background, but we got the CSS TD1Xs, I believe, in for review right now. Didn't play it through there, but the Baffles were the best speaker for me. The Baffles just let the soul of everything come through. That was a fantastic pairing. All right, so how does this DAC sound? This DAC, watch Steve Guttenberg's review on this. He says it perfectly. He says, I mean, he's been doing this for, 60 freaking years. Sorry, Steve, I know you're not that old, but 30 years, 40 years, whatever. The palpability of the music, the naturalness, the organicness, the realness, the space, it puts you in the music. I mean, we listen to all of the ABX Audiophile playlist. If you haven't checked out ABX Audiophile playlist, it's on all the streaming services. Go check us out. Get through some of those songs. Some of the jazz with the horns. I mean, you've got this Class A tube thing. I've got the Atoll SDA 200 with the Class AB, Class A output stage. We've got the open baffles. We've got the PS Audio AirLens streamer feeding this thing. It was just magical. The sound that it was making, just rich and real and life and breath and just palpability. It was a pleasure. If I did not have my reference DSD DAC from PS Audio, which when it was new retailed, I think it's about a $5,000 DAC, and we've got the I think it's APS ASP. AP Audio, power supply upgrade on it. Man, it's just, that is my reference. But if I didn't have that, I would be buying this DAC for sure. We sent it to Kelly. Kelly really likes an ultra refined, kind of a clean, almost analytical presentation. He really likes to get into the soundstage and be able to get around the musical notes and really check things out and really kind of get into the definition and the shape and the attack and the decay and how sharp the edges are. And he really likes to want to get in there and kind of analyze it. This DAC really doesn't do that for you. It's really not a clear window, if you will. It's got plenty of refinement and detail, but it doesn't get you kind of into that analytical space. I would say it's a little bit more musical, maybe just a smidge warm. But LTA Audio, their whole philosophy is make your digital side sound like your vinyl rig. So why would we expect anything else from these guys? So anyway, it's not overly refined. You are going to be, if you have a very, very bright system or bright speakers and you drop this in, it's probably going to roll that off just a smidge, but you're going to retain your detail for sure and your imaging. But so if you are like Kelly, this probably isn't the DAC for you. If you are like me, you'll probably enjoy this DAC, and it's definitely worth taking a look at. But go watch Steve Guttenberg's review. There's a couple other reviews on YouTube about it right now. And I kind of align with all of those guys and kind of what they're saying. I think we all sit in the same vein. I think it's worth the money, and it sounds really good if that's the sound you're into. Let's talk about what I don't like, because there's a couple of things. Actually, Kelly doesn't like, but we'll blame it on him. Okay, here it is. Here's the DAC. Look at this. Tell me this isn't beautiful. Look at these like brass buttons here. God, they feel so good. The thing looks great. You can tell that by the video. Another thing that I like is the tube sockets. They're not too deep. They're very high quality. Go to their website, check them out. Very high quality tube sockets. And unlike my shit products, I can fit my PS Vane globes in because it's not so tall that it hits the radius of the glass. So it really opens up some possibilities of tube rolling. If you want to get into that, the tube sockets are very nice. The tubes come out really easy. We're just going to toss them around. It's got some really nice tube sockets in there. You can check it out. One thing I didn't like, it's a matte finish on the top and it's a little bit fingerprinty. But that's not going to matter if you're not somebody that rolls gear a lot. The other thing that Kelly pointed out is we've got USB, optical, and RCA. Well, RCA really isn't a digital out. I would think this would say coax. But we're probably splitting hairs there. But I know that bugged Kelly a little bit. He brought it up. He was like, come on, man, it's only one more letter, yo. Just put one more letter on there. And you would have had it dialed in. Nice front display showing your stuff. Beautiful laser etching or something they got going on there. Back panel's real simple. We talked about that. Here's the other thing that tripped us out. This is the left channel. The left channel is on the right side of the unit, and the right channel, red, says right, is on the left side of the unit. I don't know. It just seems weird. I showed that to some of the folks on Discord. Kelly is the one that brought it to our attention. I didn't even pick it up when I was hooking the unit up. So that's a little bit weird of a choice. Typically you're going to have, left is on the left and right is on the, because that's my right over there. This is the left channel. That's my left. This is the right channel. So a little bit strange, and I don't know why they did that. Maybe I'm just missing something. But anyway, other than that, man, she's sexy and sounds good. Hey, I'm James, your ABX audiophile. I really hope you enjoyed this review today. Go watch the other reviews. I can tell you from experience that they are spot on. They are right in line with this. I think this is a product you need to check out if you're jumping up into that range of $3 to $5 grand for a DAC, and you like tubes and you like all that stuff that I was kind of talking about. Man, give this guy a shot and you know, support a really cool company doing really cool things. And yeah, I love these consumer direct guys, man. You get so much value for buck when you go consumer direct, and you know, is what it is. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys. You are my favorite people on the planet, and you have a fantastic day. I'm gonna go have a cocktail, guys. I deserve one because it's freaking hot in this studio. Okay, see you guys later.